How is it going, Bears fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Bear Down Podcast, where we talk everything Bears every day of the week. Today, we will be reacting to the Bears' 27-23 win over the Detroit Lions at Ford Field in Week 1. An incredible comeback win that takes the Bears in the Matt Nagy era to 5-0 against the Detroit Lions. I would like to say before we kick this one off, whatever platform you are listening on, do us a favor, follow/subscribe. We're super close to 2.5K subs on YouTube. Also, do us a favor, drop a like if you are watching this on YouTube. The Bears just completed one of the best comeback wins I've seen in some time. So let's set the like goal at 100 likes. Let's see if we can do it. I am your host, Chris Malpe, and oh my goodness, my blood pressure has been all over the place. But I am joined today with my co-hosts, Parth and Jaylen McClinton. Guys, what a game. Before talking about the game at all, how are you guys doing? How are you feeling right now?
Bro, I'm cooling down. My heart's like, I don't know what to say. Like, I could not. Ooh, that fourth quarter had me going crazy. Like, at one point, I wanted to just cry. I was just like, yo, this is enough. This is embarrassing. You don't want to get run down by Detroit in Week 1, and then fourth quarter, Mitchell Trubisky. Yeah, that's all I got to say right now. I'll let Jaylen carry it on from here.
I feel right. That's all I feel. I feel right.
Okay, well, before we get into the initial reaction on this one, we got to look at the stats, so let's get right into it. For the Lions, Matthew Stafford, 24 of 42, 297 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, obviously thrown in the fourth quarter, with a passer rating of 77.2. Adrian Peterson had a pretty good day, was turning up the Bears defense for the majority of the game. 14 carries for 93 yards. Kerryon Johnson, DeAndre Swift did not do that much in the rushing game. Looking over at Detroit's receiving, their best receiver today easily was TJ Hawkinson, 5 catches for 56 yards and a touchdown. Danny Amendola also adding 5 catches for 81 yards, and Marvin Jones adding 4 catches for 55 yards. DeAndre Swift adding 3 catches, probably should have been 4 for a touchdown, but we'll get into that one later. Heading over to the Bears, Mitchell Trubisky, 20 for 36, 242 yards, 3 touchdowns with a 104.2 passer rating. Also worth noting, in the fourth quarter, Trubisky went 8 for 10, 89 yards, and 3 passing touchdowns. The Bears' run game looked a lot better today. The run blocking was pretty good. I guess you could call it the Juan Castillo effect. 13 carries for 64 yards for David Montgomery, 7 for 41 for Tariq Cohen, and 4 for 19 for Cordarrelle Patterson. Finally, heading to Chicago's receiving, 4 catches, 76 yards, and an immaculate touchdown for Anthony Miller. 3 catches for 38 yards for the rookie Darnell Mooney, who really started off his career in the NFL on the right foot. Allen Robinson with 5 catches for 74 yards. And Jimmy Graham, who had a very rough start to the game, definitely coming around there at the end, 3 catches for 25 yards and a touchdown. Quickly, before we get more into this one, let's look at Chicago's defense. It also is worth noting that Trubisky did have 1 fumble in this game. Danny Trevathan with 7 tackles, same with Deshaun Gibson and Roquan Smith. 1 sack, the lone sack on the game, a massive sack by Akeem Hicks, which forced the Lions to go for a 55-yard field goal with about 4 minutes left, and Matt Prater ended up missing it wide right. Funny enough, actually doinking it. James Waters with 2 tackles and a tackle for a loss, and then Kyle Fuller with 4 tackles, a pass defended, and an interception. So it is finally time to break this one down. Obviously, an incredible fourth quarter comeback led by Mitchell Trubisky for the Bears. So before we start talking about our MVPs or anything, I want to ask Parth, what was your initial reaction to this game? It was really a roller coaster ride. I mean, most Bears games are, but what were your thoughts about this game?
My thoughts about this game, the defense looked a little shaky, I'm not going to lie. Even at the end of the game when I thought we had it in the bag, they let Matthew Stafford drive up, got real close. Actually, they should have had the touchdown. DeAndre Swift
dropped
missed
that
the
one.
catch.
Yeah.
So if they caught that, we would be recording a depressing post game right now. Let's be honest.
We probably wouldn't even be recording right now if it were for DeAndre Swift catching that ball. So
100%. Yeah, I would probably be in the bathroom crying or something. But yeah, so like the defense was shaky. The only sack was or actually we might have had 2. Actually, I take that back. So we had 2 sacks, and then Kyle Fuller had that interception off of that Jaylen Johnson
tip ball. Yeah.
He's looking great. He had around 4 pass deflections this game, even though he got rocked early on, which was kind of scary to see. But the defense needs to step it up for sure. The offense inconsistent in the first half. It felt like we were watching the 2019 Bears over and again. You just saw 3 and outs or get close to the touchdown and then basically not score. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the beginning of this game, Jaylen Johnson. There's going to be a clip of him getting run over by Marvin Jones. But what a game for him. 2 passes deflected, a pass breakup, 6 total tackles. There's so much we can say about this game. Barkevious Mingo filled in. I will say, the Bears pass rush, just in my initial reaction, was not that great today. We should have had way more than 1 sack. Barkevious Mingo was not bad. Khalil Mack got held a couple times, and there were actually penalties called. But my goodness gracious, you love to see a Bears comeback win like that. I will say for the future, can't be getting ourselves in holes like that, especially in instances where you're 0 for 7 on third down conversions. You just got to be able to clean up that stuff and be more productive on offense. But I think last year we wouldn't have seen the Bears make a comeback like that. Say what you want about Detroit, but if you put the 2019 Bears against these 2020 Detroit Lions, I don't think the Bears are winning that game. Mitchell Trubisky, I got to tip my hat to him. A lot of people were questioning him throughout this game, but he's got the clutch gene. He led the comeback, and you got to respect him for that. But moving forward, just based off my initial reaction, the Bears just can't get down that much early and have to consistently be able to perform like that on offense. But heck of a comeback. The Bears start off 1-0. I don't think we could ask for anything else. I am quite literally losing my voice. I can't even lie to you guys. My throat is getting quite raspy. So, Jaylen, I'm going to pass it to you. What were your initial thoughts about this one?
Man, for a person that's been supporting Mitchell Trubisky, I'm not gonna say since day one from here, but like the day we drafted him, I was kind of upset. But after that, I've always supported Mitchell. During the game, I'm not gonna out anybody on the podcast, but some people on Bear Down were calling for Nick Foles to come into the game, and I told him this offense, excuse me, in the first half. The offense was terrible. We were in the red zone two times, and we had field goals both times because Nagy play calling did not want to run the ball in the red zone, even though we were running the ball down the field the whole game. Mitchell Trubisky, like I said, the whole team in general didn't play a great first half, but Mitchell showed up when he had to. The defense kind of got better at the end of the game. They caused a really big turnover to lead to the game-winning drive from Mitchell. That was an absolute dime to Anthony Miller. Anthony Miller showed up on that last drive too. I'm just happy to win. This game definitely affected my emotions a lot from the beginning of the game to the end. We still got a lot of stuff to work on. We can't be down 17 points in the fourth quarter against some of these other teams. But that's about it. Going into next week, we got to work on some stuff. I'm just happy to leave Ford Field with a W because at a point in the game, I didn't really think we were.
Yeah, looking at the Bears and what they were able to accomplish today, not the greatest on third down. I think that's probably my biggest complaint. 2 for 11 on third down. But you know what? One thing that's really positive is that the Bears did rush for 149 yards this game. So before we hand out our MVP awards, I just want to ask one question to each of you guys. What did you think about this run game? The blocking was great. We didn't really see much penalty issues at all. I feel like every run personally was going for 5, 6, 7, 8 yards. So, Parth, what do you think about this run game, and how much do you think Juan Castillo got done with this group this offseason?
It looks amazing. I was so surprised to see the run game do that well, especially early on in the game. They looked really good. Cordero Patterson had a couple big runs. Tariq Cohen had big runs, and David Montgomery was solid the whole entire game. He had his fair share of runs, and I think he ended up with 64 yards. Cohen ended up with 41. And then Patterson ended up with 19 with that one big 13-yard run he had to start off the game. So Juan Castillo definitely, I feel like, had a good part into this, but I feel like Matt Nagy switched it up a little bit too. I think with the addition of Bill Lazor, I think he deserves some credit too. The run game looks better. The offensive line looks much better. There were times where they struggled a little bit, but I think that could be put on Trubisky as well for sometimes holding the ball a lot more. You can't expect the guys to be blocking for more than 5-6 seconds. So I think the offensive line looked amazing. Hopefully they can look better as they go on. Another guy to look out for is Charles Leno. He looked outstanding today. I was looking out at him, and because yesterday or the couple days back we made the video of guys who should step up in 2020, and I said Charles Leno, and he definitely stepped up today, and hopefully he can keep it going for the next 15 games and the playoffs.
100%. We got a report from Ian Rappaport this morning that David Montgomery was going to be the bell cow back for the Bears, and he wasn't essentially anything great. Adrian Peterson probably outshined him on the Lions side, just signing with them a week ago and rushing for 93 yards. But coming off a groin strain, David Montgomery still rushing 13 times for 64 yards. That's 4.9 yards per carry. Tariq Cohen also with 5.9 yards per carry, more of what we're used to seeing from him. And Cordell Patterson with 4.8 yards per carry. You guys know that last year, I feel like a lot of our rushing averages were in the low threes yards per carry. So it's nice to see that number go up, and it's nice to see the run blocking definitely have a good game this game. So, Jaylen, what did you think about the run game today?
So I'm actually watching the Bengals game, and Joe Burrow just ran past the Chargers' whole defense. But I'm glad Nagy came into this season committing to the run game, because that's something that he did not do at all last season. This game he still didn't want to run in the red zone, which I don't get it, because the passing game was not there in the first half. The running game was, and he still wasn't running in the red zone. If he ran in the red zone, I don't think this game would have been. Well, I'm not gonna say it would have been close, but we wouldn't have had to rely on a late touchdown to win it. But I'm just happy we're running the ball more. The offensive line run blocking it was doing pretty good at the beginning of the game. They were basically manhandling the Detroit Lions defense, and it kind of continued through the whole game. But I'm so happy we just ran the ball.
Yeah, run game was definitely improved, and I don't think we can complain about that whatsoever. The defense is looking to have Robert Quinn back next week. That should also be very interesting, because that's 100,000% going to help our pass rush, considering we only came away with 1 sack today. So it is time to hand out our offensive and defensive MVPs of the game. Parth, let's start with you. I think it's going to be a unanimous choice and a pretty easy one, but who's the offensive player that gets the player of the game / MVP award for you?
Before I give it out, I want to give a big shout out to Anthony Miller. He was amazing at the end of the game. He had great catches. He's the one who sparked this fourth quarter comeback at the end with Trubisky as well. I'm going to give my MVP to Mitchell Trubisky, but Anthony Miller is definitely up there. And shout out to Robinson for that amazing catch he had. And shout
catch
out to
of the
Jim
day
Grant
so far for Robinson.
Yeah, 100%. Could be a catch of the year nominee. That was insane extension. Extension. You guys get it?
Yeah,
he needs that extension. Yeah. No one got it. It's all right.
So, I got to go with Mitchell Trubisky as well. Jaylen hits it on the head. I have definitely been one to hate on Mitch in the past and criticize him. But you know what? He came up big today. We needed him to come up big, and he came up big when we needed him to. I already mentioned his fourth quarter stats, 8 for 10, 89 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's what we needed to win this game, and that's what he put on the silver platter. The offensive MVP absolutely has to go to Mitchell Trubisky. Also, wasn't too bad in the running game. 3 rushes for 26 yards. I'd like to see a little bit more of that out of him, but you cannot complain whatsoever. Jaylen, I guess just add some more stuff about Trubisky, because we know who your offensive MVP is.
I called it. I told you. I'm going to predict Mitchell Trubisky be the MVP of every game until he actually wins MVP. But yeah, I'm just happy that he showed that even when he's doubted, even when people literally the announcers were handing out MVPs in like the middle of the game. The game wasn't even close to being over yet, and they were giving the MVPs to running to the Detroit Lions running backs and stuff like that. So we were getting counted out in the middle of the game. And Mitchell brought us back. The whole team did a good job in making sure that we don't lose week 1.
Yeah. Let's head over to the defensive side of the ball. I'm going to hand out my MVP first. You know what? It's hard for a rookie to win this, and you could say what you want about how Jaylen Johnson played, but I think I have to give it to him. He came in. He was going to be the starting cornerback. We've known that for a while, and I think he answered the bill pretty well. 2 pass breakups, 6 tackles. Obviously, deflected the pass at the end that ended up to that led to the Kyle Fuller interception, where the Bears won the game. So Jaylen Johnson had an incredible play in this game. Yes, I thought it was going to be Eddie Jackson, but I cannot complain that it's a rookie whatsoever. Jaylen Johnson is going to be my defensive MVP of this game. Parth, who are you giving the defensive one to?
This was tough. The defense, we only gave up 23 points, but there wasn't a little spark on the defense that I was hoping for. But we did have a Kyle Fuller interception, and then at the end of the game, he had a couple great deflections as well. So I'm going to give it to Kyle Fuller. He's proving to be our cornerback 1 consistently, and Jaylen Johnson, you just said, is proving to be a great cornerback 2 as a rookie. So that cornerback tandem is looking really good, especially with Eddie Jackson back there at safety. The Bears have a great secondary for the future, and hopefully they do well for the next 15 games.
Yeah, I feel like you probably couldn't give it to anyone other than those two, except for maybe Akeem Hicks with the massive sack that caused the Lions to miss the field goal. So, Jaylen, who are you going to give your defensive MVP to? I surely hope it's someone with the same name as you.
Yeah, I'm going to give it to another Jaylen. He actually spells it kind of different than me, but as a person who, I wouldn't say I was doubting Jaylen Johnson, as a player. I just felt like with no preseason and no OTAs or making camps for him that we wouldn't like force him out there into being the cornerback number 2 opposite of Kyle Fuller, obviously. But since we cut Kevin Tolliver, he was the only other reliable option that we had, and he showed up when he needed to. He did get trucked, but I'm pretty sure after that he didn't. He played very well. Him and Eddie Jackson forced that interception to Kyle Fuller that gave us a chance to win the game. He had the pass deflection at the end of the game to, obviously seal the win for us. So hopefully he continues this and be a candidate for Defensive Rookie of the Year. I definitely wouldn't be mad about that.
I had said the entire week that Jaylen Johnson was going to have his welcome to the NFL moment in this game. And, we discussed back and forth all week. And when we were on a Lions podcast this morning, we discussed whether that moment was going to be good or bad. I think you can argue that he had some of the good and also some of the bad. Getting trucked, right after that happened, that clip was on Twitter circulating everywhere. But, tipping the interception that led to your team having a game-winning drive, I think that's a pretty darn good moment in my eyes. So before we close this one out, we're all going to go around and talk about one more thing. At the end of these episodes, we like to discuss one thing that we think the Bears need to improve on moving forward. So I'll go first, and I'll say one thing that I think they need to continue to do and improve on because it worked for them today is continue to trust the run. We saw the run blocking improve vastly from 2019, and I know it is only one game, but they weren't trusting it as much down the road. It's something that's familiar with Matt Nagy, trying to pass the ball more, get a little bit cute with his play calling. But look, David Montgomery not only is faster, but you can tell that he's still able to break tackles after he lost about 6 pounds. He can still make quick cuts. I think he's one of the best, most elusive running backs in the league in regards to breaking tackles. And I think you got to put the ball in his hands. You got to trust him as your second year back. He's here for a reason. He's starting for a reason. Also, Tariq Cohen was pretty solid, so can't complain about his play as well. But honestly, in the future, if I had to give the Bears one piece of advice, it would probably be trust the run, run the ball more in the red zone. I think no one was complaining today when they ran the ball, and normally that's not a case when it comes to the Chicago Bears. But it was really nice to see the run game paying off, and I want to see more of it moving forward. So that's going to be my piece of advice for the future. Jaylen, I'm going to pass it back to you. What's one thing you think the Bears need to improve on heading towards Week 2 in a matchup where they'll face the New York Giants at home?
It's a couple things on both sides of the ball that we need to improve on, but I'm gonna go with the defensive side of the ball. Our defense is something that we relied on the last 2 years, and they almost basically lost us the game. DeAndre Swift got open because I think I'm pretty sure he burned Danny Trevathan. Danny Trevathan did not have a good game at all. Pace might be regretting paying him instead of paying Nick, who's younger, obviously, maybe a little bit faster, still has some juice in his step and stuff like that. But we need to stop the run game. Obviously, I don't remember the last time a running back did this to us. It's probably been over a year. And be greater at covering the tight ends. T.J. Hockenson had a very solid game for the Lions, and he almost won them the game.
Yeah, the tight ends is definitely something I could see needing some improvement on. I would sure hope Danny Trevathan has a bounce-back game in the future because wasn't the greatest for him today, but I know he's up for the task and he can definitely improve down the road. Parth, before we close this one off, any last words of advice for the Bears heading into Week 2 after a comeback win?
Just don't give me another heart attack because that was hard to watch in the beginning. I'll take the win for sure, but I'd like to see more consistent offense, consistent red zone offense. I take that back. I think the red zone offense could still use some work. We saw them clicking at the end, taking some shots. We need to keep doing that. Start from the beginning, like you said. Keep the run game. You got to pound the run game to open up the field for Trubisky and let him run out more. I was, when he started running, one play he had where he took off after he got that face mask, he looked great. He looked comfortable right after that. That's when things started sparking up. So, last year against the Dolphins and Bucks, we gave him a couple zone reads to start off the game. I feel like if the Bears just gave him a couple, systematic run plays, I think he gets more comfortable in the pocket and is able to climb the pocket and then step through his throws. And if we can keep doing that, and just build up his confidence. The sky's the limit for this offense. We saw it in the fourth quarter. I don't want to get too optimistic here, but this could be something special in the offensive side if it keeps going.
Yeah, if the offense can do that more consistently and definitely not dig themselves that big of a hole, I 100% agree we could be onto something here. But we'll have to see it play out next week against the Giants. This officially concludes our coverage for Bears versus Lions. I hope you guys loved all the content we put out this week. Before you guys go, I would like to say one thing. The New York Giants play on Monday night. Obviously, that's the Bears' Week 2 opponent. So you're going to see a little bit of a different schedule for us next week just because we want to see the Giants play before we make all of our content. We do have a guest for Meet the Opponents. I'm not going to reveal who that is yet, but that person cannot record till Wednesday, so you will see Meet the Opponents on Wednesday instead of Monday. So we are going to push up 3 key factors to Tuesday. We'll post that after we see the Giants play, and then the rest of the week will go as the same. We'll probably get an uncut up tomorrow. It'll just be a little bit different of an upload schedule for the next week. But thank you guys so much for tuning into our post-game show. If you want more content from us, you can head over to our website, beardown.com. We post a ton of content over there. We've been posting stuff maybe even more frequently than we've been posting these podcasts, so be sure to go check that out. If you want to find us on social media, you can head over to Instagram and Twitter and find us at beardown. And finally, do us a favor, go follow all of our Instagram fan pages. The links to those are down in the description. There's some great content on all of those platforms right now. Parth Shaw, Jaylen McClinton, I'm about to lose my voice, but what an incredible Sunday. What an incredible comeback. Any last words before we sign off, completing our Week 1 coverage?
Just about to watch the rest of the NFL games. I'm watching Tom Brady and the Bucks right now. He just had his first career touchdown, so that was cool. First career Buccaneers touchdown. That was cool to see. So, yeah.
Like Chris said, this is probably going to be something that I'm going to continue to say. Mitchell was about that bread this Sunday.
Yeah. You're always sliding it into the podcast somehow.
I'm going, bro. You act like I wasn't going to say it, especially with a game like this. But we have to improve. Mitchell didn't play the best first half, but if we can improve and he stays consistent with this, watch out. That's all I'm gonna say. Bear down, man. Bear down. I lost my voice over here, but that's about it.
I am also losing my voice, but it is super exciting to see the Bears start off their season with a 1-0 record. Finally, a Week 1 win. For the first time in the Matt Nagy era, the Bears will start their season off 1-0 with a great chance next week to capitalize on another game with the New York Giants. Our coverage for that will kick off very soon. Thank you guys so much for supporting us throughout this week, and thank you so much for 2.5K subscribers. It's been an incredible 2020 for us, and we're going to keep pumping out content for you guys. It's been a pleasure to be your host. Once again, my name is Chris Maltby. Bears win. That's all we needed to do. We're heading into Week 2. Bears fans, do us a favor. As always, stay safe and bear down. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.